The time has come to finally review the movie that was the live-action debut of The Daywalker.
Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucamus Prime here, and welcome to a brand new movie review today. And in today's video, guys, I'm going to be reviewing this time a comic book movie in this review, and this is for one of my favourite superhero movies of all time, I mean, in my opinion, directed by Stephen Norrington, released in 1998, and this is the first installment of a trilogy of this character, guys. One of my favourite Marvel superheroes of all time as well, is from Marvel. And this, of course, is none other than 1998's Blade, the first movie. So, yeah, this is what I'm going to be talking about. So, now, when it comes to this film, guys, so how was this made? So, obviously, Blade was created for Marvel Comics by the writer Marv Wolfman and artist Gene Colan as a supporting character in the 70s comic Tomb of Dracula. The film entered development, and was pitched by, I think it's David S. Goyer, and many actors were considered for the role of Blade, being people like Denzel Washington, Wesley Snipes, and Lawrence Fishburne, but Goyer said that Snipes was the perfect choice for a role, and you know what, I couldn't agree more. So when it comes to filming, Blade was produced on a budget of $45 million, and principal photography commenced on February 5th, 1997, in a large part done in Los Angeles, with some scenes being shot in Death Valley, in Eastern California. All sets were constructed, and all on-set filming occurred in what was formerly the Red Ken Shampoo Factory in Canoga Park, and the effects of the film were done by Flat Earth Productions. The film was then released on August 21st, 1998, and was a commercial success, grossing $70 million US box office and $60.2 million worldwide. Despite mixed reviews from film critics, the film received a positive reception from audiences and has since garnered a cult following, and is hailed as one of Snipes' signature roles. And it's also noted for being a dark superhero film for its time, and as well as being Marvel's first successful film and setting the stage for further comic book adaptations. So, when it comes to why I think of this film, guys, when it comes to my first reaction, I first saw this film when I was pretty young. I saw it and I loved every second of it. In my opinion, guys, Blade is a timeless masterpiece that never has and never will get old. And in my opinion, guys, they will never make a Blade movie as good as this, ever, in my opinion. Because I think this movie is an absolute masterpiece and is one of the best superhero films of all time. So, one thing is great about it is that I think it has a really amazing cast. So, you know how I said that I couldn't scream more with David Scott about Wesley Snipes being perfect at the Blade? So, Wesley Snipes, in my opinion, is Blade. That's all I'm going to say. In my opinion, he's a perfect choice for Blade, and the only Blade I'll ever accept, because he was perfectly cast in the role. And he absolutely nailed it, in my opinion, as the half-vampire daywalker who hunts vampires. Wow. He did such a really amazing job in the role, perfectly cast, and I don't imagine anyone other than him playing the role. And he's definitely great in the role because he's been training in martial arts since he was 12, guys, and he's got a 5th and black belt in Shotokan Karate, and a 2nd and black belt in Hapkido, so yeah, perfectly cast because of the stunts and all that. And he just really nailed it, in my opinion. Just absolutely perfect casting right there. I'll never imagine anyone topping him as Wesley. He's my #1 Blade. The best Blade of all time, in my opinion. The greatest. No one can play Blade other than him, to me. In addition to Wesley as well, guys, I also love the addition of Chris Christopherson as Abraham Whistler, who, of course, is Blade's mentor, father figure, and his weaponsmith who makes his weapons for him. And Whistler is probably my second favourite character in the franchise, and definitely my favourite role of Chris Christopherson. And I hope he's doing well because he, of course, retired from acting, so I hope he's doing well nowadays. And he definitely did a great job playing Whistler in this trilogy. He really did a great job as him. And Wesley and Chris had good chemistry when they're filming together. They had lots of fun on working. So, yeah. He was definitely a great choice for a role, and he did a great job playing him. Now, when it comes to a film's villain, I definitely love the villain Deacon Frost, who is played by Stephen Dorff. That's probably my favourite role of Stephen Dorff, and he's an upstart vampire with great ambitions and influence. He emerges as Blade's primary enemy, and he also wants to conquer the human race. He was definitely, in my opinion, a very compelling villain, really was. And Stephen Dorff did a great job playing him, really did an amazing job in the role. And he's even ruthless because he even kills other vampires who get in his way too. For example, one vampire he kills is the vampire elder Gitano Dragonetti, who is played by Udo Kier. And definitely he is a ruthless villain in my opinion, because he rips out one of Dragonetti's teeth, I think one of his fangs, and then he leaves him to burn in the sunlight on the beach. So yeah, definitely a very graphic death in my opinion. And also as well, I like the addition of N. Bush Wright as Dr. Karen Jensen, who is a hematologist who was bitten by a vampire. And I definitely liked her development in this movie, because I like how she starts off as being like, just a typical hematologist in a hospital, really. But throughout the movie, she gets development and she learns to be a fighter like Blade, and she helps him out. That was definitely very good how she became his partner in fighting in Frost. So I definitely like the development in this movie. And when it comes to Frost's team as well, I like the addition of Donald Logue as Quinn, who is one of Frost's minions, and is capable of surviving wounds but kill lesser vampires. And probably my second favourite role, Donald Logue, behind Harvey Bullock in Gotham. I thought he did a great job playing Quinn in my opinion, and many others were also great as well in this movie, like, for example, Tracy Lords as Raquel, Arlie Jova as Mercury. And also as well, I think one example of a vampire who definitely helps set the stage for this film being like a horror film is probably Pearl, who of course is a morbidly obese vampire who Blade and Karen confront for information, of course, on Frost. And Pearl is definitely a very graphic sight in my opinion, yeah, goodness me. And they did a very good job with, with prosthetics and all that to create Pearl. They did a great job of it in my opinion, yeah. And definitely pretty scary to see as well. And I also love the addition of Sanna Laffin as Vanessa Brooks, who is Blade's mother, who got bitten by a vampire before she gave birth to Blade, which of course resulted in Blade being who he is, so yeah. And speaking of Blade's mother, I liked the twist of it being revealed that she was still alive, and of course it's revealed, of course, that Frost is a vampire who bit her, and she came back to Frost after he bit her. And yeah, and also as well, now, when it comes to other great things about this movie besides the cast, guys, so one particular highlight of this movie, in my opinion, is probably the action. The action scenes in this film are absolutely sick, in my opinion, just absolutely mind-blowing. Like, this is why, in my opinion, they'll never make a Blade movie as good as this, ever. Because this film, in my opinion, is flawless, and I love every second of it. So yeah, like, for example, like, one thing that this film nailed was definitely the opening sequence, because after we, of course, get the intro showing Blade's mother dying after she gives birth to Blade, which is bitten by a vampire, we then, of course, see a scene where a vampire takes her boyfriend to a club, and then, of course, we get a scene where there's like hoses, and they spray blood on the vampires who are there dancing, and the boyfriend is really frightened. But then, of course, Blade arrives, and then he slaughters all the vampires. He's there. Like, that opening sequence, guys, is just how you start a Blade movie. Absolutely. And the music in the club is also great to listen to. Probably my favourite music in the whole franchise of Blade, in my opinion. I definitely really love the music choice for the club. And I listen to it quite a lot as well. It's definitely a great piece of music to listen to. And yeah, that opening sequence never gets old. It's probably the scene I love to rewatch more when I rewatch the movie. And yeah, I was definitely excited for that scene when I rewatched it last night for this review. But yeah, that opening was just absolutely awesome in my opinion. Just really amazing. And there's other great action moments in this movie as well, which are definitely really great to watch as well. So many really awesome moments. And yeah, Wesley did a really good job with stunts in this, which definitely helped because he of course knows martial arts, which he's been doing since he was 12, as I said earlier. And also as well, other great things as well about this movie, which I do also love. Now, you know how I've said that this film does feel like a full-on horror movie at times? Well, that, in my opinion, guys, is absolutely perfect for a Blade movie because Blade is a character who is not for children, guys, and never was, as far as I can recall, aimed at children as a character at all. So that's why I'm so glad this film was full-on horror at times. I definitely really love that. This is probably, in my opinion, the best example I can say of a superhero film which is also a horror movie, because that definitely works really well, in my opinion, for a Blade movie. Does a really amazing job of doing that, because this film has lots of graphic moments. I've already mentioned, of course, the opening scene where Blade slaughters vampires at a club, and also Dragonetti's death on the beach is also graphic as well, among many other graphic things as well. And speaking of course, graphics, of course, the special effects in this film are definitely aged very well, in my opinion, because for a 1988 film, the effects haven't really got old, in my opinion. They look really good for their time, really good. It's very impressive what they're able to do with it, and I definitely really love that. And I also as well definitely think the effects in, of course, Frost's fights with Blade at the end of the movie was also really fun to watch as well. Was definitely very good to see. And it was definitely really great, indeed, how he did that with the effects. And you know how I said I love the club music at the start, guys? I definitely love the music for this film composed by Mark Isham. The music was definitely really awesome, in my opinion, to listen to. Really fun to watch. Definitely what you need for a Blade movie is definitely awesome music, which kicks ass, absolutely. And yeah, this film definitely nailed it, in my opinion. So yeah, this film is an absolute masterpiece, and I love every second of it. So yeah. And when it comes to, of course, the final act of the movie, I definitely think that is definitely one of the main highlights of the movie as well. I definitely, of course, love the fight between Blade and Frost. It's definitely very well choreographed for its time. Really good. And the effects as well are really good for it as well. And it was definitely as well really cool as well how the way Blade defeated Frost, because he injects him with all the syringes, which of course causes the anticoagulant EDTA, of course, which is of course the possible replacement you know, to which I think is involved in, like, you know, the curing or whatever, stuff like that, like a serum to suppress the urge to drink blood or something. So yeah. And because it's of course discovered it explodes when combined with vampire blood, so that's of course how Blade discovers how he can defeat Frost. So the overdose of the ETA causes Frost's body to inflate and explode, totally killing him. Like, yeah, that scene was definitely really cool, and yeah, the effects of Frost's body inflating was definitely very impressive for its time. Very impressive. Yeah, did a really great job with it, and yeah, really great to watch as well. And I definitely, of course, love Blade's line he says before he throws the last syringe at him, where he kicks it to him. Like, that line that Blade says is absolutely badass. You know, some you-know-what's always like going to ice skate uphill, yeah. I love that line very much. My favourite Blade quote of all time. So yeah. And all great things about this movie as well is I don't think the ending is also really great to watch as well, because it has like a setup for more, because it shows Blade confronting a vampire in Moscow. So that was definitely set up for more to come, absolutely. So yeah. And yeah, it was definitely, you know, an absolute masterpiece, in my opinion. Easily, in my opinion, the greatest Blade movie of all time. One of the first superhero films of all time in general as well. Just absolute masterpiece, in my opinion. Yeah, just a really amazing movie. And never gets old. And it's always such an absolute blast to rewatch from start to finish. I love every second of it. Just an absolutely incredible movie. And when it comes to the rest of the franchise, guys, as well, I do also love a sequel, Blade 2. Yeah, Blade 2, in my opinion, is definitely, in my opinion, a great sequel and an underrated movie, in my opinion. But I, however, hate Blade Trinity. I can't stand it. Yeah, terrible movie, in my opinion. Blade 2, to me, is probably the last good Blade we're going to get, to be honest. And of course, I also know this for sure, because Blade is, of course, going to be the MCU, played by Marshall Ali. And what is absolutely stupid is they're going to make him PG-13 in this movie, which is just absolutely dumb, because Blade is not for children. Never was and never will be, as far as I'm concerned. He's not a children's character. So yeah, by making this one Blade by making this Blade from PG-13, that's just a massive mistake right there, because it's going to totally botch up the character beyond all belief. So, but thankfully, guys, because I quit the MCU after I saw Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm thankfully not going to watch this movie. I'll instead just rewatch Wesley's trilogy. I mean, hell, I'd even watch Blade Trinity over his MCU film, because at least that film, you know, despite being torn down, is still rated 15 for me. So yeah, that's something at least. So yeah. And of course, I believe it's rated R in America, so yeah. At least it tries to be rated R compared to this upcoming MCU movie, so that's why I'm not going to watch it. I'll only watch Wesley's film, and that's it, really. So yeah. But when it comes to Blade War, guys, 1998, I still think it's an absolute masterpiece. In my opinion, the greatest Blade movie of all time, and I will post reviews for the 2 sequels, absolutely, of course, which I'm looking forward to doing, and yeah, which I'm definitely excited for Blade 2, because in my opinion, that's the best of the sequels, and in my opinion, underrated movie. But like I said, guys, they'll never make a Blade movie as good as or better than the first movie. The first one, to me, can never be topped. It's an absolute masterpiece, in my opinion, and it's one of my favourite Marvel films of all time in general. Just an incredible movie. So yeah, and if you wonder what I would give Blade out of 10, guys, I would give Blade a full-blown 10 out of 10. Just an absolute masterpiece. I don't have any problems with it whatsoever. I think it's a masterpiece, in my opinion. Just an absolutely incredible movie. And yeah, it's just absolutely wonderful, and easily, in my opinion, the best Blade movie of all time. And never ever will be topped, in my opinion. So yeah. So guys, this is me doing my review for Blade from 1998, directed by Stephen Norrington. And yeah, definitely, in my opinion, a really amazing movie, an absolute masterpiece. And also as well, guys, I'm also aware that that Morbius actually plays in a lead scene in this movie, which is definitely pretty cool, I guess, that Morbius would appear in this. And I'm also as well wondering, you know, if he was better in that than he was in the terrible movie from last year as well. So yeah, I wonder, eh? I'll probably check out the lead scene one day, guys, see what I think of it. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah. So guys, this is doing my review for Blade from 1998. So you know, drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to let us know in the comments what you guys think of Blade 1998. In the comments below. I'd love to see what your thoughts are on it if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend it, because it's an absolute masterpiece, in my opinion. Definitely worth watching if you like Blade. Absolutely. And also, be sure to join the team by pressing subscribe when videos come in the future. If you would like to be a member, you can join if you're using a PC or laptop, you can look in the description. And I'll see you all later.